Hey, you are looking live at Sold Out Giant Stadium, where today the 15-0 New York Giants will be taking on the 0-15 Carolina Panthers. Why the Carolina Panthers 0-15? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron, everybody or anybody out there at all. Spend a little bit of time with me here. I greatly appreciate it. Or anybody at all watches the replay of this. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, you guys absolutely freaking rock. I greatly appreciate it. Anybody guys say anything, put it in the chat. I check up on it every now and then. Right. Try to go about 30 minutes here, as I try to do every night. Got some stuff here to go over. Saquon. Yeah, I mean, this one makes definitely sense. Saquon was the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Right? He returned to the sensational form with his efforts in New York's 21-20 victory over the Tennessee Titans. Barkley earned his third career POTW, Player of the Week award, rushed for an astonishing 9.1 yards per carry, gaining 164 yards on 18 carries. He had an additional 6 catches for 30 yards to tally 194 scrimmage yards. Okay. He also had the touchdown, the first points of the season for the New York Giants. Okay. And then let's not forget the 2-point, the all important 2-point conversion there at the end of the game, which put us up 21-20. Now you got to, remember, I mean, a lot of it has got to do with, who's around them, who's calling plays, right? His first season with the Giants, right? I mean, a phenomenal season, right? Over 1,300 yards rushing, over 700 yards receiving, and over 90 receptions, right? Shermer was calling plays, right? Shermer's a very good offensive mind, okay? Then the middle 2 years, right? With not the middle 2 years, but I mean his first year, right? Yeah, that's when he had over 2,000 yards rushing. Okay, then he started. He got injured the past 3 seasons. So he always missed some time. But his second season, okay, he just got over 1,000 yards rushing. The last game of the season, he just got over 1,000 yards, but he had missed some time. Okay, then of course, then his injuries. 2 years ago. Obviously, cut it against the Bears, cut his season way short. Then last year, the freak injury with the sprained ankle, right? He missed some time there. And even in the second season, when he had the 1,000 yards rushing, he had the high ankle sprain, came back a little too early. It seemed like he wasn't, like, the next week or two, I'm going to say, it didn't seem like he was himself. So, I mean, so he missed a couple. I can't remember if he missed 2 games or 3 games. But then the next couple of games, he came back in his second season. He just wasn't quite the same. But he still managed to get over 1,000 yards rushing, okay? Once again, right? He missed time, came back. He was still injured, wasn't himself. And what happened? He got over 1,000 yards rushing. Rookie season, all right. 1,300 yards rushing, over 90 receptions, over 700 yards receiving, over 2,000 yards scrimmage yards, right? Shermer calling plays. The last 2 years with, Jason the Clapper, Garrett calling plays. Well, obviously, you can't really say much of anything. 2 years ago. I mean, week 1, my God. I mean, 2 years ago, first game of the season was against the Steelers, right? I mean, we couldn't run. I think we averaged like a yard a carry. I mean, we just could not run the ball at all. Yeah. Now, was it the Steelers? Was it the play calling? Was it the offensive line? Was it this? Was it that? Or was it a combination of everything? Yeah, I think so. But then, you got, last year, he missed some time with the ankle, but still, I mean, just the production was not quite there. So now we have seen an offense. We have some very good offensive minds. I mean, Dable, who's been, around very, very good offensive mind. Then you got Kafka, okay, who's now learning from Dable, but who's also came from Andy Reid. And you can't, you got to appreciate, when you're under a coach like an Andy Reid, right? I mean, the guy's a freaking mad scientist. He's, as far as like the plays and all of that and everything, you can't get that. You can't go to Yale or Harvard and get that kind of education. I mean, that is absolutely priceless. Okay. Kafka, and Kafka came from, I believe it was Northwestern. Okay. So he's, very smart. But, so now you got two good offensive minds in there. And what are they going to do? Right? They're going to get the best out of the ball. They're going to put the guys in the best position available to be successful. Joe Judge said that I don't know how many times over the past 2 seasons, but it just never seemed to work out. But, you got to feel confident, okay? And this is just the beginning of the season, too. I mean, you got, hopefully, okay, as the season goes by, the offensive line hopefully will stay somewhat healthy. So maybe we can get 4 or 5 of the guys that play, many games together, get a little more confidence, right? Evan Neal, he's going to need a little bit of time. But, I mean, for them to start, with the playbook, right? Starting to get more and more comfortable with the playbook. What we're looking at right now compared to what we're going to look like, maybe in week 6, 7, halfway through the season, week 8, week 9, it's going to be a little bit different. Hopefully as the weeks go by, we're going to start getting a little bit more and more and more efficient, a little bit better, right? Maybe, hopefully a little bit better with the offense. So, if Saquon can stay healthy, I don't want to say the sky's the limit, but, 194 yards a game, we might see that again. We might see that again we might see a couple hundred yards, a couple times throughout the season. I'm certainly not going to say every week. I wouldn't mind seeing that, though. Don't get me wrong. But if he can stay healthy, okay, we got to stay healthy. I mean, we can't have, Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor getting hurt. We got a 5th-string quarterback in there. We can't have the whole offensive line depleted with injuries and this, that, and other. We got to stay somewhat healthy, all right? But, the Giants with a somewhat soft schedule, all right? We're going to be playing some soft defenses, okay? Look for Saquon, to get a couple hundred yards total offense a couple times throughout the season. Because it only takes, one hole for him to go 80 yards, right? We've seen him do that before, okay? So he can do it again. So very, very well-deserved Offensive Player of the Week. I wouldn't be surprised if he got the NFC Offensive Player of the Week at least one more time, right, before the season's over with. Then we got, the Giants got the injury report, okay? They let that out, all right? Unfortunately, so we got 2 Robinsons, right? One's day-to-day. The other one is going to miss week 2. Maybe he'll be back for week 3. A lot of this is kind of like up to maybe some of the guys recover better, recover faster. Aaron Robinson had a appendectomy after the game. I don't know if it was maybe so much right after the game, but so he's going to miss. He's going to miss week 2. Hopefully he'll be back in time for week 3 against the Cowboys because, they got some decent receivers there. We can certainly use him there. So we'll have to wait and see. But Aaron Robinson is going to be out week 2. And Wando Robinson, Brian Dable said is day-to-day. But, of course, Kayvon Thibodeau's been day-to-day for weeks now. Azeez Ojulari has been day-to-day for weeks again. So, I'll have to just wind up waiting and see. Edge rushers Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau were technically limited in practice today, okay? But their workload was exceptionally light. Thibodeau did slightly more than Ojulari. The Giants' full Wednesday injury report can be found here, okay? So as of Wednesday, the ones who did not participate was Nick McLeod. He's got a hamstring. Wan'Dale Robinson with his knee, and Aaron Robinson, he's got the appendectomy, right? So he did not participate, and I'm sure he won't be participating probably for the rest of the week. Limited in practice: Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari, John Feliciano with a lower leg, right, and Jason Pinnock with a shoulder. But the nice thing to see, full participant, Dane Belton. Okay, very, 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 very good. So now, why is Dane Belton? I mean, I'm dying to see this guy on the field too, right? I'm not saying he's going to be Troy Polamalu or anything like that, but I'm just, I always pull for those late round guys like Micah McFadden, Dane Belton, guys like that, to make the roster, and if they do good, I mean, you get somebody in like the 4th, 5th round or so who winds up being somewhat of a star. You got to love it. Absolutely love it. So I'm definitely, I can't wait for Dane Belton to be on the field on Sunday, see what he can do. But why is it so important for Dane Belton to be coming back? Well, because now, all right, who's going to be taking over for Aaron Robinson? Okay, and then the Giants released their depth chart here. Okay, so let's look at the depth chart. Let's go with the offense. All right, they got quarterback Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor, the quarterbacks. Running backs Saquon Barkley, Matt Breida, Gary Brightwell, Antonio Williams, Chris Myrick. Running back / fullback / tight end. I'm sure if they needed to be a tight end too. Okay, so it's nice. We signed Myrick, all right, but we're going to get a lot of use out of him. Okay, I don't see him being a running back. Okay, fullback, yes. Blocking, yes. Tight end, yes. An H-back or whatever, yes. But then we got wide receivers. We got all right, Kenny Golladay, David Sills, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Richie James, Kadarius Toney, and Sterling Shepard. All right, then we got tight ends. We got Bellinger and Tanner Hudson. Okay. Then we got left tackle in this order. Now, Zudu is the backup for both left tackle and left guard. Okay, but that just shows you the guy's flexibility. That's the importance of him. Okay. Did he have a rough game? Ben Bredesen and Joshua Zudu, left guard. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Rough game. Hopefully better times are ahead. Okay. But a left tackle will get Andrew Thomas, Joshua Zudu, and Devery Hamilton. Left guard, Ben Bredesen. Apparently, I guess is going to be maybe the starter again. Hopefully he can have a better game than he did against the Titans. Titans got a very good front for defensive front. Joshua Zudu is the backup once again, and Tyree Phillips. Centers. Then we got Ben Bredesen is the backup to John Feliciano. All right. Right guard, Mark Lewinsky, Ben Bredesen. So Ben Bredesen is the starting left guard. He's the backup right guard, and he's the backup center. Okay. And you got Jack Anderson. Okay. Right tackle, you got Evan Neal. Devery Hamilton is a backup for the left tackle and the right tackle, and you got Tyree Phillips. Tyree Phillips is the backup for left guard and right tackle. All right, so you're noticing, right, a lot of flexibility here. Only a couple of guys here that really don't have much, like Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, but you can probably flip-flop them back at tackles or whatever. But you'll notice a lot of the guys have that flexibility where they play multiple positions on the offensive line, which is huge, absolutely huge. As I said, especially Joshua Zudu. I hope the guy, and I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro or nothing, but hopefully he starts blossoming, learning his trade, over time. He's just a rookie, right? But I mean, as the years go by, he gets a little bit better, and he can be a huge part of the offensive line where he can plug and play that dude freaking like 3 or 4 spots. Okay. Hopefully, and then hopefully the Giants actually do something with him, which they don't seem to like to do. Actually, re-sign him. I mean, he's a rookie. He's got a long way to go before we worry about re-signing him. But, that guy can play almost any spot, pretty much except for like center. Okay. So he's huge. And on the defense, we got Dexter Lawrence at nose tackle, Justin Ellis and DJ Davidson. Defensive tackle, we got Leonard Williams and Nick Williams. And then defensive ends, okay, we got Azeez Ojulari and Jihad Ward. Then they got another defensive ends. They have Kayvon Thibodeau, Oshane Ximines, and Tobin Fox. All right. Interesting to see. I don't know who's going to be active because it's Quincy Roche going to come back again and be on the 53 this week. We'll have to wait and see. Mike linebacker, middle linebacker, Tay Crowder, Micah McFadden, Cam Brown, weak side linebacker, Austin Calitro, Micah McFadden, Cam Brown. So it's interesting. Micah McFadden is the backup for the Mike and the Will linebacker. Cam Brown is like what they have here is the third string for the Mike and the Will. Okay. Cornerbacks, Adoree Jackson, Cordell Flott, Nick McLeod. Then the other cornerback is Aaron Robinson, Cordell Flott, Nick McLeod. Okay. The nickel. Now, you notice Cordell Flott, okay? He's the backup to Adoree Jackson. He's the backup to Aaron Robinson. He's also the backup to Darnay Holmes, okay? So Cordell Flott, flexibility there, which is huge, okay? Strong safety, Julian Love, Dane Belton, Jason Pinnock. Free safety, Xavier McKinney, Dane Belton, and Jason Pinnock, okay? So, but now why, with Belton coming back is this huge? Well, because you got Mr. Duct Tape himself, Julian Love, all right, who can play multiple positions. Now, they got the Cordell Flott, okay, listed as the backup to Aaron Robinson. Aaron Robinson's not playing. Going to be interesting to see, did the Giants elevate somebody from the practice squad? They're not. I'm sure they're not going to elevate from somebody from the practice squad and make them the starter, okay? But what you could do is what Julian Love has done in the past. He could play, maybe not your number one cornerback, but he could possibly slide and become a adequate cornerback number two. Or they're going to try to go with Cordell Flott and have him plug him right in there. They can also, if they want to do series, have Cordell Flott in there for a series or two and then put him on the sideline. But you can slide Julian Love in there if need be. Then what you would have, okay, then, Julian Love, obviously, if he's a cornerback number two, can't be a safety, but now you got Dane Belton back, okay? You also got, Jefferson, right? I believe he's on the practice squad. Let me see here. Who is on the practice squad here? Practice squad. Is Jefferson there? Yeah. Tony Jefferson, all right? So you can elevate Tony Jefferson from the practice squad, okay? That way you would have Xavier McKinney, Dane Belton, Jason Pinnock, and Jefferson could be your four safeties, okay? So, you can have, and Dane Belton can also, I'm dying to see him in the box as well, too, what he can do. Because one of the problems the Giants have been having, okay, is what happened was with against the Titans now, which is going to wind up happening here against the Panthers, McCaffrey, okay? The dude is electric, okay? He can run the ball. He gets injured a lot. He's a lot like Saquon, but he's deadly out of the backfield, all right? And the Giants have a hard time covering backs out of the backfield. And Hilliard, for the Titans, came out of the backfield, caught their only 2 touchdown passes. Why? Because our linebackers couldn't cover them, right? So if they can't cover Hilliard, what do you think they're going to do with McCaffrey, right? So the Giants are going to have themselves a problem there. Now, one of the things they can do to help maybe alleviate that, okay, is that with the Giants, when they were going up against the Titans, they wanted the main focus was stopping Derrick Henry, okay? So you want to load the box up or at least get 7 guys in there, 7 big bodies in the box, okay? Now, bringing a safety up is not necessarily bringing in a big body, okay? But what they did with the Titans was, they got at least 7 guys in the body. They wanted to stop Henry, okay? That's the main focal point, okay? Now, I don't know if they want to do the same thing, and try to totally shut down McCaffrey. But what they could do is take one of the middle linebackers off the field, bring Dane Belton down inside the box. Okay, that way he can help cover against the run. But if McCaffrey runs out of the backfield, he can be on McCaffrey's ass. Wherever McCaffrey goes, that's where Belton goes. Now Belton will be probably do a better job at covering McCaffrey than any of our linebackers will. So be interesting to see, when McCaffrey goes out for passes, who's covering him? Because it's going to be a mismatch. If we got Calitro or if we got Tay Crowder, either one of the CNC Music Factory there, Calitro or Crowder trying to cover McCaffrey out of the backfield, huge mismatch. And if we had Hilliard caught 2 touchdowns against the Titans, it ain't going to be much better against McCaffrey. I can tell you that much. So the Giants got themselves a conundrum. I guess that's how you say it right there, right? So Wink Martindale is going to have, it's got his work cut out for him as far as what he's going to try to maybe come up. I mean, every game's different. I mean, that's the excitement of it. Okay, every game is different. Every situation is different. But against the Titans, I mean, Tannehill, adequate passer. Okay, they had a nice offensive line, as it was shown. The Giants didn't get a lot of pressure on them. They got 1 sack. I don't even think he lost any yards on the sack. Right, so they have a nice offensive line, but their focal point is getting Henry the ball. Okay, Carolina, some of their focal point is getting McCaffrey the ball, but you get him the ball in the backfield, or you get him the ball out in whatever, a pass pattern, a screen, whatever you got to do to get him the ball out. Getting Henry the ball, on a screen or out in the flat or something is not the main focal point. Main focal point is turn around and give the guy the ball. Let him take off, right? So with Tannehill, he's an adequate quarterback. All right, now they got Baker Mayfield. Okay, once again, an adequate quarterback, right? But the Giants are going to have the work cut out for him. It's interesting to see what Wink Martindale is going to try to do with McCaffrey, because McCaffrey can beat you running the ball and he can beat you receiving, right? So it's going to be interesting to see. A little bit of a chess match going on. Who's going to be covering them? Very, very interesting to see. Now we got on the practice squad, the Giants got Webb. They got Platzgummer, Jefferson, the safety, Austin Allen, Zion Gilbert. Possibly. I'm trying to think of guys here they might wind up elevating. Marcus Johnson, wide receiver, Casey McDermott, guard, Ryder Anderson, a defensive tackle, Fabian Moreau, cornerback. That's a possibility too. Okay. Roy Mbetika, Will Holden, another tackle, Chuck Wiley, an outside linebacker, Jashawn Corbin, Trenton Thompson, that's another guy they could possibly have, and Quincy Roche. So now, if Kayvon or Azeez can't go, do we elevate Quincy once again? Right? Very interesting to say. And if they do try to slide maybe Julian Love into a cornerback and they want to elevate a safety, are they going to bring up Trenton Thompson? What a nice preseason, okay? Or they want to bring up Tony Jefferson. Very, very interesting to say. Or if they're not worried about that, if they want to keep Julian Love at the safety position, okay, who are they going to elevate? Okay, Zion Gilbert or Fabian Moreau, right? So they got 2 cornerbacks there. So I have to wind up waiting to see, who they want to elevate. But you're not going to know that until pretty much till game day and all, because, Kayvon and Azeez being day-to-day, they've been day-to-day for weeks now. I was listening to Patricia Chaina. She does Locked On Giants. She has a Locked On Giants podcast, but she's also on YouTube too. So I listen to her every day. She's very, very good. She dumbs stuff down so well, even I can understand it, right? But she was talking about that she thinks that maybe Kayvon might be a little bit farther along than Azeez is, okay? So if anybody's going to play this Sunday out of the 2, it might be Kayvon. Okay, and Azeez might maybe need maybe another week. You don't want to rush them, because you rush them back too soon, they get injured again. Right now they're out even longer. You know what I mean? So when they come back, you want to make sure that they're healthy and all that and everything. But if anybody's going to come back, right, it might be Kayvon. All right, so or it may not be either one. So once again, look for Quincy Roche to quite possibly be elevated. Okay, at the outside linebacker position or the edge rusher position, however you want to call it. Then we got the storylines to follow here, okay? I got this from Giants.com, okay? And it is true. It's you got Dable's home opener, the Giants' home opener, Shane's home opener. Okay, it's huge, huge. Giants on the road, upset Tennessee, right? 1-0. Man. Now, let's see. Coach Brian Dale was visibly excited on the sideline after picking up his first win as head coach. He was freaking fired up, well, I'll tell you. Although he enjoyed celebrating with his team, the head coach did not take very long before he flipped the page to this week's opponent. It was good to share that moment with the players, Dable said Monday, and then you're on a flight home. You're watching the tape. I finished watching it this morning. There's not a lot of sleep when you have road games or later road games. It's standard operating procedure. What we've been doing up to this point is meeting as a staff for a few hours. I met with Joe Shane. I met with the players, and I do this media session, and then we really get going on Carolina. So, again, pleased with the result, but proud of what they've done up to this point relative to getting ready for their game. And now turning the pages as quick as we can to the Carolina. So, oh, yeah. I mean, the Giants, the first time they're 1-0 since 2016. I mean, that's huge, right? Another one of the storylines of ours, keep the running game rolling. All right, Saquon got his 2022 NFL season off with a dominant note. All right, the 25-year-old rookie rushed for 164 yards and 18 carries, 9.1 yards a carry, and a touchdown, and added also the 2-point conversion and 6 receptions for 30 yards. He busted out on a 68-yard run that helped set up his first touchdown burst of the season, right? And he went on and scored a game-winning 2-point conversion with just more than a minute left in the game. So 164 yards rushing and 194 total yards from scrimmage were both the most in the NFL over the first week of the season and led him to being named NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Well-deserved. And then Barkley said, it's just one game, to be honest. Barkley told the media after the game. That's how I look at it. Obviously, at the end of the day, I'm excited to get the win. Personally, just got to keep coming in. Something that just keeps tickling me about the Coach Dable says, just enjoy the process. So, now as a team, the Giants finished with a league-high 238 yards rushing. Now, isn't it? I mean, you think Kafka and Dable coming in and we're just going to be flying a ball all over the place, going like the greatest show on turf, this, that, and nope. League high 238 yards rushing. Daniel Jones had 25 yards on 6 carries. Matt Breida ran the ball 5 times for 24 yards. Kadarius Toney took 2 carries for 23 yards. So we had 4 guys that had over 20 yards rushing. Very, very good. The team's 7.4 yards per carry average was the second highest in the NFL behind the Saints' 7.9. The head coach credited both Barkley and the offensive coaching staff for the team's success on the ground. Let's see. Now we got here this too. Competition continues at left guard. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. There was the one pass play with Daniel Jones threw the ball to Sterling Shepard down the field. I mean, he couldn't step into it because I don't know. One of the Titans players, it might have been Bredesen. He just ran him over. I mean, just Daniel Jones looked like he was trying to step up into the throw, and he couldn't because there was like a couple guys. I mean, it was a nice pocket, but there was a couple guys that like fell at his feet. I think one of them was Bredesen. Like he just got run over. I mean, so we got competition continues at left guard. Now, it's going to continue. Now, you don't know. I mean, hopefully Shane Lemieux, after 4 games out, will be ready. He'll come off the IR. Hopefully. Wouldn't it be freaking amazing to actually have the guy actually on the field instead of him getting hurt all the time? With Shane Lemieux on injury reserve, Ben Bredesen and Joshua Ezeudu have been competing for playing time at left guard. The two split the snaps almost evenly in week 1, with Bredesen on the field for 33 snaps and Ezeudu had 29. The two played a part in the Giants' total 238 yards on the ground, especially Ezeudu, finished with the second highest run block rate among the team's linemen. But also, I mean, let's not forget, he had a very bad pass blocking grade. Okay. Dable has not yet decided whether or not the two linemen will rotate left guard again this weekend. The coaching staff will make a decision at the end of the week after evaluating the two at practice. Dable said, we'll rotate them here in practice, and then by Friday evening, we'll make a decision, the head coach said. But Ezeudu is a young player that we're developing. And Bredesen has done a good job throughout camp of playing every position that we asked him to. So they both earned it. So then we got now the injury updates. Robinson out for week 2. Dable announced Wednesday that starting outside cornerback Aaron Robinson will miss Sunday's game after having his appendix removed. Wow. Robinson received with the 3rd highest overall PFF grade on the Giants defense in week 1. His 73.4 mark also ranked 11th among all cornerbacks. Okay, but let's not also keep that in mind. I mean, we weren't going against an offensive juggernaut, passing offense, okay, in the Titans, but he did a very good job, okay. Darnay Holmes is the one who struggled a little bit, okay. So his 73.4, Aaron Robinson, ranked 11th among all cornerbacks, while his 72.4 coverage grade ranked 15th. Very, very good, very impressive. The second-year corner finished with a 72.9 passer rating when targeted and registered a pass breakup. The head coach said that there will be competition throughout the week for Robinson's spot opposite Adoree Jackson in the starting lineup. Yep. I mean, I said he said there's Cordell Flott, there's Fabian Moreau, Nick McLeod, right? Zion Gilbert. They said, I guess they got Justin Lane. So nothing really there to get totally excited about. They're depth guys, okay? I'm kind of, if anything, I'm kind of interested to see Cordell Flott. See, obviously because he's a rookie, can he do a decent job? I mean, as time goes by, he can certainly get better and better. But if he winds up going out there and playing, very anxious to see what he can do. All right. Let's see. And then the last one we got here is containing McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey did not blow up the box score last week. He rushed the ball only 10 times for 33 yards, but he was able to find the end zone. He also added 4 receptions for 24 yards. Although his stats may not be eye-opening, McCaffrey's success goes beyond the usual stats. His 79.5 overall PFF grade was the 3rd highest at the running back position last week, as he put up solid marks across the board in the run game. Yeah, in the run game was 77.1. The passing game was 76.5, and pass protection 78.1. So he can do it all. His skill set is very different from Derrick Henry, which means McCaffrey presents a whole different challenge for the Giants defense. Oh, yeah. And Dable says McCaffrey is dynamic with the ball in his hands. Maybe a little bit different, Dable said, about the difference between McCaffrey and Henry. Oh, yeah. My goodness. Obviously, he doesn't have the size, but he's a hard player to cover. Very hard to play. Out of the backfield, yeah, he's tough. He's very good in space. He can take it into distance anytime he touches the ball. They can line him up at 1, 2, 3 in the backfield. He can break tackles, but he's very athletic. He's a unique player in the fact that he can do a lot of things at the running back position. Oh, yeah. Wink Martindale's unit was able to hold Henry to 82 yards rushing on 21 carries, 3.9 yards per carry. And as a team, the Titans were only able to gain 93 yards on 26 rushing attempts, 3.6 yards per carry. Tennessee had one of the top rushing attacks in the NFL last season, and that was with Henry missing half of the season. Now, you also realize, too, I mean, sometimes you'll get like the Ravens will be like maybe at the top. Okay, but why is that? Well, that's because they have a running quarterback. Okay, the Titans to me is more impressive because they have, the quarterback turns around and hands the ball off to the running back. Okay, the Titans do not have a running quarterback. Okay, that's why the Ravens are up there. But so the Titans had one of the best rushing attacks, and they don't have a running quarterback, and Henry missed half the season. So what the Giants were able to do to the Titans and control their running game was very, very, very impressive. But, they're going to have a whole new, different type of animal coming up this week against McCaffrey. He can pass block, okay? He can run the ball, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can do everything, all right? So he's going to be very interesting, hard to cover, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the Giants try to do to minimize the damage that he can do. And very interesting to see who the Giants actually put on him to cover him, because Jay Crowder and Austin Calicho, I don't think are not the answers. If maybe we get Dane Belton in the box, okay, bring him up and have him cover McCaffrey out of backfield. I think that might be a better option. Well, it's been almost 35 minutes. A lot to go over, a lot to talk about, guys. Once again, guys, as always, anybody that spent any time at all watching me, thank you. Anybody's going to watch the replay of this, spend any time out of your day or night, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys absolutely freaking rock. I love it. Thank you so much. You guys stay safe out there. And as always, go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.